future reference, and the Utah State University Folklore Archive. Will that be okay? Okay, and then you just go ahead and state your name and your title and position.
Okay. You want me to go ahead and just get the authorization now? Oh,
Yeah.
or just go ahead and get my name.
Yeah.
My name is Chadwick Brooks. I'm a federal police officer for DPS, Defense Protection Service, at the Pentagon.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm recording, Chadwick. If you could just go ahead and take us back to September 11th.
Okay, sure. Well, of course, every day starts off as, your typical day. At that time, I was actually assigned to the traffic division, which is the patrol division, which is really much the mobile units outside of the Pentagon. That morning, typically, we had a briefing or a meeting, as you would call it, about 8:30, I believe. I don't know the exact time. Halfway through the meeting, it was interrupted. A couple of the supervisors came in and said for us to turn on the TV. We turned on the TV, and they said it appeared to be an accident in New York City. The World Trade Center had been hit by a plane. The meeting continued on, and we really didn't think too much of it. One of our assignments that day was at 11 o'clock. We were supposed to be at the heliport, the actual crash site, for dignitaries coming in. About 15 minutes later, again, they said a second plane had hit. This time they just canceled the meeting and just gave everybody assignments. What I remember vaguely was I stopped and got some breakfast, and I was doing my paperwork in the car. Where I was located was right across the street from a gas station, which is adjacent from the Pentagon. How many yards, I don't know, but it's actually pretty close by. It's just right across the street. Happened to be sitting there, and this time it was a little bit before 9:30, a little bit after 9:30. I just happened to look up to my left, up in the air, and just seen a plane. A few seconds shortly after that, I heard what seemed to be a tractor trailer or something coming behind me. Well, it felt like it was coming behind me, and I looked again, but this time I looked and I didn't see a truck. I looked to my left, and lo and behold, I noticed that the plane was just going awfully low. Now, granted, at this time I hadn't registered the two events that had happened in New York. I just really just thought the plane was flying awful low. A few seconds later, out of nowhere, I just literally, it's hard to explain, but just seeing the nose of the plane just looked like it was just going straight down. So at this time, I got out of my car because I knew something was wrong. And again, it still hadn't registered the two events in New York. A few seconds after that, I literally seen the plane just go nosedive into the Pentagon. Very awful sight, because at the very end, the plane literally just full throttle, and to this day, I don't know if I was able to watch it or not, but just to be frozen in time like that, to see that plane just literally clip a lamp hole. The closest that people were asking me how close it felt, almost if I had a rock, I felt like I could have hit it, but just the instant, just a moment that happened, really, it was just like being in a movie. Unbelievable. As soon as the impact, there was a loud thump, there was a loud boom, and just chaos. There were screams. There were people literally running into the highway. There were police cars. There were rescues. There were people just yelling over the radio. They were saying we were being attacked. Now, granted, nobody has really registered what has happened yet until the plane has actually hit the building. And by then it was actually too late. We knew we were in trouble by then. By that time I had gotten in my police car, and actually I was heading towards in front of the crash site, which is 27, which is actually a road right in front of the Pentagon. There were people literally jumping over the barriers there. I mean, there was cars that were literally going 50, 60 miles an hour. There were people literally running the road. There were people jumping on my car, asking for a cell phone. I literally, to that point, felt like I was in a movie. I really didn't know which way to turn. What I did then was try to get close to the building as I can, because there were people still coming out. There were people literally just laying on the ground. We were trying to move these people to safety, and it felt like a lifetime. I don't recollect how much time from the time I actually seen the plane to the time the plane actually hit the building, how much time had elapsed, but it just felt like everything was in slow motion. I believe my mind just didn't register, because again, I really at the time didn't realize what had happened up in New York City. I was still kind of in a daze. The whole time I'm thinking this plane was awful low, it's just an accident, what's going on. But after that, I think that event has really actually changed my life. To this day, I just, to see a plane, I'm literally looking up in the air now, just seeing if it's all right, if it's flying too low or not. I don't know if just by me watching it, something has happened traumatically, but I really don't want to fly on a plane again if it was up to me. I guess just knowing that there were people on the plane at the time and just literally flying over me, what were they thinking? I know they had to see us, and just to literally go into the building like that, literally full speed. It was enough speed just to knock a lamp pole like it was just a toothpick, and just the sheer impact. It was a very long day for us. Actually, I was in that morning about 5:30, and I don't believe I even left till late that evening. Just help people and actually trying to secure the scene. And that was my September 11th.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. People ask me what was it like to see the plane hit. It's hard to explain. I mean, how do you explain something of that magnitude hitting something so innocent like that as a building? The structure's not made for impact like that. But just the worst part, I think vividly, was just me standing out there and just wondering what those people were thinking, and just seeing me standing there right beside my car, just knowing that they were in the impact. It was really too late by then, because by the time it hit, people were saying that, we were being attacked. And I just remember that day vividly. It was just a dark cloud. It was just smoke, and there were sirens. And I know when I came home, just my ears were just popping and ringing from people just literally screaming in my ear, and just the rescue squads and the sirens just all day. Actually, I don't know how long of a day it was. Just literally, I didn't know if I was going deaf or not, just by the sheer terror of everybody felt. Everybody felt that, because we didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if there were people coming in convoys and just start shooting people. I didn't know if stuff was going to fall out of the sky. Just sheer terror. And like I said, me and another guy, actually another officer, there were people literally just trampling over people. There were people just literally just jumping out the road and everything. There happened to be one elderly lady just literally got knocked to the ground. She had a cane. She must have been in her mid-60s. I didn't see her, but I noticed one of my officers, my counterparts, actually picked her up, and we were literally going up one way on the interstate just to try to get her to safety. We didn't know she had broken a leg or just what, but we were able to take her to the nearest hotel, and they put her in a wheelchair, and we hadn't heard from her since, so we were hoping that, she was okay.
Wow.
That day, actually, I know it probably took all of just a couple minutes, but it was just, I guess my mind was really not trying to register, and another part of me was actually saying, okay, this is what happened, and another part of me is saying, no, this is not real. So I'm actually walking around, like a day. It's actually like a movie set cut, let's start over again. It's something that people were asking me, what was it like? It was like just being on the set of a motion picture, some action-packed picture. There was just explosions, there was just the heat, there was just the smoke, there was just the sirens, all the ingredients of a huge motion picture. But it was real, and there were a lot of heroes. There were a lot of people that came together that day. But it was just, unfortunately, the act of terror had to occur, in the Pentagon and actually New York City. People were saying, me personally, I wish I wish I didn't see it. I wish, me personally, I didn't see it, because that's something that's kind of hard to get out. You know, like I said, it was just, to know something like that is happening, but there's nothing you can do about that. Just to watch innocent people just plunge into, you know, a building like that it kind of hurts, because I have kids too, and I have families, and I have friends, and I have relatives. It could have been me on the plane, and I'm thinking, my God, how would I have felt if that had been my wife up there, and I'm standing on the ground just watching the plane go in? So I looked at the, you know, all evidence. Even though they were strangers on the plane, it was just like they were just, you know, family members, because it was so bad that people were saying, well, where's the plane at? There is no plane. They thought a bomb or something had hit the building, but it just literally disintegrated the plane. So, you know, my heart goes out for the families that, you know, lost friends, relatives, to all the first responders, to everyone that helped that day, everybody that was in uniform, and everybody that was just a civilian, anybody from just the Salvation giving you a cup of water, or the local gas stations giving you, you know, blankets and everything. It was nice to see everybody come together like that. I'd never in my life witnessed so much unity, just strangers that were, you would think they would have been friends for a lifetime. And it was a day that I hope I never have to see again, and I hope that, you know, America doesn't really have to go through, at least in this lifetime, because it's very traumatic. And I know we have a lot of officers that were actually right beside the building. At least me, I was away where I could actually kind of have distance, but there were some officers that were literally right there, and they were just like standing right beside it. Those are the ones that, you know, I prayed for, and at least, you know, we didn't lose any of our officers, thank God. But we lost a lot. It has changed everybody's life, because we're working longer hours now. My family structure has changed because, you know, I have my kids in the evening, and the time I was able to spend for my family is actually no longer now. So I'm juggling longer hours and still trying to be a husband and, you know, a father. So, and it's not just me; it's everyone. Everyone is tired. They're just digging deep, and, you know, we're just hoping that one day we can come to peace and come to grips with what's happening, and hopefully catch the perpetrators. So that's pretty much my layout for the 11th. Do you have any questions?
Basically, I mean, what's it like being that you have to go to work every day? What's the feeling that's there at the Pentagon?
Well, I'll tell you, the first couple of days I was a little jittery, a little jumpy. You know, I think one time I was right beside a dump truck, and I guess the back of it kind of jumped up, and it sounded just like another boom. Everything was, you know, to me it sounded like a crash. You know, everything. You know, every time somebody said something, I was kind of looking over my shoulder. It took a while for me to actually calm down and actually get my nerves. It was like drinking 20 cups of coffee at one time. My adrenaline level had literally not come down yet. It's tough to go back that day or just a few hours later to something that you witnessed or something you experienced, because you're trying to put that behind you. You're trying to put that in the past.